Gladiator, the new experience.
Hello, welcome to the film discussion of Gladiator. Today we will be learning about the film's story, diction, melody, spectacle, and worldview. Put your listening ears on since these aspects contribute greatly to the film. Now to the story. The film Gladiator contains a classic three-part structure where all characters experience many transformations. Louis Giannetti believes that the three-act structure is what molds the film's story. The first act, or setup, is composed of 25% of the film. The second act, or confrontation, is composed of 50% of the film. Finally, the third act, or resolution, is also composed of 25% of the film. In the first act, the main character, General Maximus, is introduced as the hero of the story, while his adversary, Prince Commodus, comes into power after killing his father out of jealousy. He is jealous because his father loves Maximus more than he. Once in power, Commodus murders Maximus's family. This is the first plot point. In the second act, Maximus is captured and sold to be a gladiator when he changes his identity to a Spaniard gladiator. Over time, he fights in numerous gladiatorial battles where he makes friends and makes his new name known throughout the Roman region. Meanwhile, Commodus turns even more insane because he becomes unpopular among his friends and family. Then he finds out Maximus is alive and well. In the final act, Commodus challenges Maximus to a duel, but cheats when he severely injures Maximus by stabbing him. The fight commences, and Maximus manages to end Commodus' life, but before dying from his fatal wound. He then joins his family in the afterlife and is given much honor from the Roman people. Now to diction. Aristotle believes that diction is the expression of the meanings in words, and its essence is the same both in verse and prose. What he believes is the words that characters express must have a meaning, and that these meanings can contribute to the verse and the prose. Two styles of expressions. Now, back to the film. Diction. Aristotle believes that diction is the expression of the meaning in words, and its essence is the same both in verse and prose. What he believes is the words that characters express must have meaning, and that these meanings can contribute to both verse and prose, which are two styles of expression. Back to the film. In this scene before the final battle, at the beginning of the film, Maximus is commanding a legion. As commanders always do, he provides a rousing speech to his men. It states, "Brothers, 3 weeks from now I will be harvesting my crops. Imagine where you will be, and it will be so. Hold the line. Stay with me. If you find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you are already dead. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity." What this means is that all the soldiers should fight for the country, land, and families, even to the death. If they die, they need not worry where they go, since they will end up in Elysium, or the afterlife. Once in Elysium, the soldiers will no longer need to fight, where they will either suffer hellish lives or relax and enjoy the splendors of their new lives. Wow, what amazing diction the director provides to the audience. The only thought Aristotle expresses about melody, or song as he calls it, is that it holds the chief place among the embellishments. Melody is fantastic since it sets the mood of a scene for a film and appeals to the emotions of the audience, either scaring them or arousing pity for the characters in the film. Back to Gladiator. In this scene where Maximus dies, and when he joins his family in the afterlife, soft music is played in the background so that the audience can feel sympathy for the former general. The director uses that music so the scene is memorable to the audience, and that the valiant and courageous main character has died. Here's a small sample of the music, and afterwards we will move on to the spectacle of the film. Spectacle, according to Aristotle, is the least artistic of all elements of a tragedy. What this means is that although blaring sound effects, graphic action-packed fighting scenes, and outstanding props are useful in the film and awesome, none provide the film with fantastic reviews or high box office ratings. Don't get me wrong, they are enjoyable to visualize, but it does not give the film a great story. Now, to the one we've all been waiting for, the worldview of the film. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the worldview! Woo! According to Brian Godawa, a worldview is defined as a belief system or web of beliefs that contain a creation, fall, redemption. As audiences see from the cultural entertainment to the wording of ideas in Gladiator, they can determine that its worldview is paganism. For example, in ancient Rome, gladiatorial games were carried out in numerous colosseums around the empire, which is included in the story of the film. The Romans viewed these games as a form of entertainment where they watched people battle to the death. During these games, the gladiators wore multiple helmets, each with different designs, which further argues for the worldview. Also, Maximus gives a speech at the beginning of the film in which he refers to Elysium, which is what the Romans referred to as the afterlife. Mentioned earlier, Elysium was the place where spirits of the dead people traveled to live eternally. Therefore, this film contains paganism, a worldview where people believe in more than one god and who offer sacrifices to each god depending on the situation they have experienced. Now go, watch Gladiator, enjoy it, and learn more about it. Thank you for listening. Directed by, written by, and narrated by Isaac Granero. Me!